Imagine reading the night sky and seeing the exact trajectory of your own life, including the moment it all falls apart. If you knew your ruin was written in the stars, would you accept it, or would you try to calculate a way out? In the legends of Kerala, Thalakkulathur Bhattathiri treated destiny as a rigid branch of mathematics. He approached every prediction by analyzing planetary movements as raw data, turning the messy uncertainty of life into a series of solved equations. His accuracy was so terrifying that the king of Travancore decided to test him. The king intended to break through a random section of the temple wall, challenging Bhattathiri to name the specific spot before the hammer fell. The king chose a brick at the base of the massive golden tower and ordered his men to strike. When the stone shattered, the workers found a palm leaf tucked inside. Bhattathiri had hidden it there the night before, correctly predicting the exact coordinates of the king's random choice. For Bhattathiri, the future was simply a calculation that hadn't happened yet, but this absolute confidence set him on a direct collision course with a trap he couldn't see coming. The downfall began with an act of pity. Bhattathiri helped a starving Brahmin by calculating the exact second and location two divine messengers would appear, allowing the man to intercept them and claim a hidden fortune. The Brahmin followed the instructions to this multi-tiered temple. The interception worked, and the man escaped poverty. But Bhattathiri had essentially hacked the cosmic timeline. The messengers were furious at the interference. They cursed Bhattathiri with Adhopatanam, a total loss of his elite social status and a descent into the lowest rungs of the caste system. Instead of panicking, Bhattathiri consulted his charts one more time. He ran the numbers on his own curse and identified the exact minute his social ruin was destined to trigger. He now had a deadline. The prophet began engineering a mathematical shield, determined to find a physical loophole that could outrun a divine decree. To prevent any taboo act that could trigger his downfall, Bhattathiri isolated himself. He hired a boat and paddled to the center of the Pazhur River on the day the curse was set to strike. His logic was flawless. Social ruin requires social contact. By staying equidistant from both banks, he made it physically impossible to interact with another human being. Midnight approached. Right at the moment of the predicted strike, the atmosphere shifted. A violent, sudden storm turned the river into a churning vortex of black water. The boat flooded instantly. Driven by the instinct to breathe, the master mathematician abandoned his logic, swam blindly through the waves, and dragged himself onto a random porch to escape the cold. The storm had overridden his calculations. By forcing him out of the river and into the dark, the universe placed him exactly where the prophecy needed him to be. As Bhattathiri lay shivering on the porch, the homeowner's wife stepped out into the pitch black. Mistaking the stranger for her husband, she lay down beside him to comfort him. When the sun rose, the catastrophic truth became clear. The woman was a Kaniyar, a caste of astrologers that social laws of the time considered lower than Bhattathiri's own. The ultimate social taboo was broken. The prophecy of Adhopatanam was fulfilled. His elite status was gone, and his old life was over. Rather than falling into despair, Bhattathiri accepted the result of the universe's calculation. He blessed the woman and predicted that the child they had just conceived would become a genius who would surpass them both. He left his home and traveled thousands of miles to Kashi, living as an exile on the riverbanks. He traded his status for the life of an ascetic, observing the world from the outside. He had learned that true mastery isn't the ability to manipulate the future, but the composure to accept your destination once the universe outmaneuvers you. Years later, that child grew into a famous astrologer. He had inherited his father's talent for numbers, but his most high-profile predictions were starting to fail in humiliating ways. He predicted a girl from the stars, but failed when magic intervened. Next, he predicted a calf with a white spot on its head, but it appeared on its tail. He ignored the fetus curling in the womb, placing the tail over the forehead. A ragged traveler from Kashi arrived at the sun's gatehouse. It was Bhattathiri, returning in disguise to watch his son struggle with these flawed readings. The son had the correct data, but his father saw the missing link. The young man was calculating in a vacuum, ignoring the physical and situational context that defines reality. Bhattathiri shared the final secret of a craft. Math without environmental awareness is just noise. To see the future, you have to look at the world, not just the charts. He proved this by predicting their afternoon meal would be burnt. Bhattathiri reached this conclusion after noticing a bird landing on a withered, dead branch outside, a physical omen of decay that signaled a mistake in the kitchen. Confronted by this practical logic, the sun finally recognized the visitor. Bhattathiri ended his exile and spent his final years teaching at his son's gatehouse. When he died, he was buried at this very gatehouse, founding the Pazhur Padippura. Today, it remains the one place in Kerala where the predictions are said to never fail, because they are built on his combined legacy of math and observation. You cannot outrun your destiny, but by accepting your downfall and teaching what you learned, you can build a legacy that survives long after your calculations end.